Hey, pardon me. Hey, how's it going? Why don't we take a look at my signs before I get started? So, today I figured something out. I figured a couple of some things out, but this one I have talked about here on my channel, and it is about well, now I'm calling it I had been calling it the right angle, the corner thing, remember, like the bottom corner of a picture frame thing that I was seeing like in the clouds and whatever. And then it also sort of coalesced with like a vision type deja vu sort of thing that happened while I was recording, about 3 recordings ago maybe, and didn't know what it was. And then the last video I made, I kind of described it like I know there was like a yellow sweater, like sunflower yellow sweater involved. There was definitely somebody's blue jean bent knee and like thigh, and then like flesh, like black arm or something pressed up against like a glass, I guess. It's a picture frame or a box. I don't know what I was looking at. But yeah, white, black skin in there, so like everybody kind of a thing. Then that made me start thinking, well, then that's like all of us in like, I'm just, like I always say, gonna confine my stuff that I'm talking about to the United States, but just all of us, just without warning, like the rug being yanked out from under you, or you're like in some kind of vehicle and the brakes hit suddenly and you don't have a seatbelt, like nobody has a seatbelt because there's no safety net. But I thought that's not quite it, right? That can't be all. So I finally thought, well, let me look it up. And I had been thinking of it as right angle. So let me just say, math is not my strength. And so I looked it up and I was like, okay, that is the wrong direction. And I thought, is there a left angle? I don't think I've ever heard that. Again, not a math guy, but I don't think I've ever heard left angle before. It's probably going to be the name of some company, which it is when I looked it up. But here's what I also found. So, what is the left angle? There is no such thing as a left angle. That's why I've never heard of it. No matter which way the base ray is pointing, any angle that contains 90 degrees is a right angle. So I was right in the first place. I didn't see this. This is the first time I looked at that. But here was the... Oh, wow. What is the symbol of the left angle? Okay. Are you going to show me? Left angle bracket symbol. It looks like less than, if you're familiar with more math stuff I'm not supposed to know about. But if you know about like the crow's beak sort of parenthesis, the pointy parenthesis, the left bracket symbol, left angle bracket symbol. Here, I'll show it to you. Oh, look. I'm getting a reflection of what's on the phone, but it doesn't look like what's on the phone is showing up. I don't know why that would be. Maybe it's too big. Make it smaller. It's not my bank account. I wonder why. I wonder why the camera won't pick it up. Okay, well, that's strange. Well, anyway, it's the lesser than symbol in math. You can probably look that up if you don't know what that means. So, but here's what I found that did pertain to the left pointing right angle. That's all messed up, but I guess that's what it means. So the heading is, what does the left angle cross of incarnation mean? And I thought, oh, that's got to be the one that I need. And let's see. Left angle. What does left angle of incarnation mean? Left angle. Your purpose is transpersonal. Meaning, You must interact with others to fulfill it. I mean, that's... If I have a job at all, if I have anything close to a job, is interacting with other people, not personally in person, I wish, at least not as often as I would like, but hey, don't go dark. That is what I do. And so, there's more. Right angle. Your purpose is solely personal, meaning you work alone to fulfill it. Juxtaposition. Sorry. Woo, where was I going with that note? Going all up in my high register. Your purpose is your purpose regardless of interaction or no interaction. Like that kind of reverberates with me. It rings true. And then I found even more. There's a site called Human Design 101. Or no, sorry, that's a lesson. The site is called Just Follow Joy. And it's run by someone named Ariana Joy. And it's like a metaphysical, new age type site. It's got I don't know. I mean, it's talking about unconscious sun, unconscious earth, conscious sun, conscious earth. I'll read you like what it says underneath the titles. The incarnation crosses essentially represent the lifelong purpose we are here to fulfill during our time on earth. They are composed of the gates in your conscious sun, conscious earth, and unconscious earth. And it's referring to a diagram that apparently I can't show you, but it's got like a conscious and unconscious columns like on either side. These are important because according to Human Design, our sun and earth energies have a huge impact on our charts. I'm sounding like she's talking about astrological charts. Your personality sun alone is 70% of our energy imprint. Well, that sounds like it's detectable, and I don't like that because the people that could detect it, I mean, if you can sense it as a single human being, okay, I can't do anything about that. But if it's like the government, I don't like that. Get out of my business. Okay, so now it talks about how to find your incarnation cross, and I am gonna, well, I told you the name of the site. If it's linkable, doesn't appear to be, but justfollowjoy.com. And as I'm clicking around looking for a link, I got to another tab that says Learn Your Soul's Blueprint for Easy. So it looks like it's going to sell you the way to figure out your life purpose, which I don't know if I like that either. It can certainly be found for free. Just saying, but you know, you have that information that I shared with you anyway. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to purchase help. I just don't think that's how you're meant to do it, but everybody's got an opinion, right? You know what I mean. So, let me see if I can, that guy here. Oh, that is not what I want at all. What the? Oh, okay, that's something else. Go back where you were. Whoa, what the hell? I just got rid of everything? I didn't want to do that. Well, anyway, the left angle, which is a right angle no matter which way it's facing, apparently, is, you know, if you consider the totality of what I've talked about on here, it makes perfect sense that I would see, what did I say leading up to this? The left angle, all of us together, all crumpled up because stuff changed and we got stuck in our inertia and we were not ready for the rapid velocity switch and shift and everything that's happening right now. Like, I know I never thought we'd be a Russian satellite. Did you? Did you think America was going to be a Soviet nation? But think about it, though. Putin is the one, or as the Russians say, I guess, Putin is the one who, like, started all this mess, because if you know history at all, and you might just have to know it. I don't know if you can, like, learn it anymore traditionally, but, Putin has always wanted to revive the Soviet Union. It's clear, especially now, that that has been his goal all the time. Look how he has tried to keep his talons in, like, all of the little satellite nations that were part of the Soviet Union and are, well, I guess unofficially, they didn't choose to leave. But, you know, it would be nice if you could have a choice and not have something forced on you like that. So, I had written a little something which I am now going to share with you, that I feel like everything I got, because I have some cards too, I feel like everything I got in front of me is tying together. So, let me find the beginning here. I don't want to be a pariah nation. Like, I don't want to be a citizen of a pariah nation. So sudden that our inertia failed. We are finding our feet. So the failure of the inertia is about, like, the sudden change, like the rug suddenly getting yanked out from under you and knocking you off your feet. Like a collective tumble of people, and you're just all of a sudden all on top of each other before you can even think about it or do anything about it. And I have to say that it just occurred to me that, considering the fact that the people in the jumble that I'm seeing are not, like, jumping up and, like, wiping off where they touched the other people that are not the same color, that tells me that that kind of thing, at least in this tumble, is like nobody's thinking about that in this particular moment. Or I shouldn't say nobody, because that what I saw was like a small part of a corner, so not everybody. Beyond the scope of what I can see, there's more. And they're not necessarily in agreement. So sorry, but it is my home. Oh, we are finding our feet. So sorry, but it is my home, and it needs a melty center to balance the hard shell. It's loud and garish, but also cheap, poorly constructed. So that poorly constructed comment, there was already a sentence that I was writing, and poorly constructed just inserted itself right there. And it was like, literally in my head I heard, Trump dig by the guides. They credited their insertion. So, also cheap, loud and garish, but also cheap, poorly constructed, and brittle. It learned from watching Dad the weird phenomena, this shell of mostly sham. Like a band in other countries' food color. It looks appealing, but is in reality poison, easily shattered, and prone to lashing out after the warm, sweet center. Oh, and prone to lashing out. So easily shattered and prone to lashing out. That that refers to our co-presidents, who, everything big and male and loud and everything that they're, like, making such a big show of, like, those of us that can really see what's happening realize that that's, like, what you do when there's a bear. You're not really that big and you're not really that loud, but you are so scared that at least to make yourself look and sound big and loud. And a bear might be momentarily shocked and confused and run away from that. And so I feel like that is the same tactic that the Trump and the Musk routinely use. And that's why the whole, calling Trump dad thing is, the most abusive dad ever. Ask his sons. Ask his older sons. Anyway, and easily shattered, that is the fragile ego that I'm referring to, which would be the shell of mostly sham, like the fake bigness and loudness of the bear. It's going into a circle, but you get what I'm saying. So, after all of that, the warm, sweet center must hold. It must be the cohesion in the terrible sweet. I know it's a weird metaphor using M&Ms using M&Ms, but it made me think of Tucker Carlson and his angry and specific commentary about the green one, the green M&M. Same grown man who, while not his actual father, is fine with the, again, weird idea of a father figure chastising, even spanking other adults with fathers. They already got fathers all their own. Speaking of harmful ingredients permeating, I have to say, to be clear, that without the familial blood ties, these remarks about fathers not your own and women, bad women, naughty women, misbehaving, mainly women, getting spanked. All of this could be a plot for porno. I noticed ads on YouTube that should have a paragraph marker. Where's my pen? Give me a moment. I noticed ads on YouTube have pics of models letting dang near all of it hang out. Video ads, forced upon me is what it feels like. So forced upon remedies where the possibly AI spokesperson, the spokespeople, sell it in filthier than necessary terms. Oh, wrong way. My issues with it are, I'm not sexually attracted to women, but if I were, I feel like I would look for these. Oh, I feel like if I were, I would like these ads. Like if I were attracted to women, but I'm not. I know most fellas don't mind at all. The video ones are with these TMI, also might be AI, feminine spokespeople whose sell copy is like, no, not like, is pornographic. Which, fine, great, if you're into that kind of thing. They're just awful, in my opinion. Fucking gross hug to a girl times exponential. Just like, my problem is, on the rare occasion I go look for porn, it's right in its designated place, and you can choose your kink there. Another issue, and okay, so I just want to go a little bit further with looking for porn, where porn is meant to be found, and doing your thing when you get there, like finding your slot that works for you. Great. I don't have kids, right? But if I did, I would not want them on YouTube. And I didn't really care before, because most things I know for most kids, like once the people start talking, are going to get real bored real fast and click it off. So they're highly unlikely to see something bad. But these ads are like eye-catching, and if you're like a kid going wild and you're like in your horny teenage period, male or female, don't think this is just dudes, but I don't think it's really good for any of us to have it. Let the porn be where the porn goes, okay? And if you have kids and you're worried about this kind of thing, which I'm going to go further on what I wrote. Another issue is the women in the print ads look too young, and in the vids, the women are crass and talk like a man wrote what they're saying. Like, they're coming across threatening, and I don't know who is that for. What it sounds like is the right and a breed of angry men. Men you choose a bear over to spend time with. Sorry, just a little on the fly editing, excuse me. Let's see, one another? Too bad, you're getting it whether you want it or not. Another feeling I get from both those ads, those print still ads, and the video ones. The ick gross center. I sense there is also a feature on the right now. Oh, wait, let me try that again. Another feeling I get from both the thick gross center I sense. That's another disgusting sweet. Maybe not so sweet, just gross. I sense there is also a feature on the right now that, well, I wrote that bad, but I don't know. I guess to make it a better sentence, both of those ads, the way that they're like composed, make me sick to my stomach. How's that? And that's like a thing on the right that I get often, like something they're saying or doing, I just feel sick to my stomach. Let's see, where did it go? We are making changes. We don't give, oh, this is the right. We are making changes. We don't give a shit if you don't like it. We're doing it anyway. That's the feature on the right that's gross. Doing it to you, like it or not. You don't like it. Oh, you don't like it? Sorry, I have to read my shorthand here. If you don't like it, too bad, we're doing it anyway. We don't give a shit. And we're doing it to you, like it or not. You don't like it, even better. I feel like that is the vibe, like, especially toward women. You know, I'm one, so I kind of can't miss it. Man, that is like a wrinkly mess. Whatever. And my sleeves are all bunched up here, which is, I think, the problem. Oh my God, yeah. I didn't even realize it was that bad. Anyway, yeah, you don't like it? Too bad. That's even better. If you don't like it and you're uncomfortable and it makes you sick to your stomach, we love it. That's how I feel the right is. And like, toward women, but just kind of generally. So, where was I? And that's why you can't get a date. Seriously, though, I feel some serious hypocrisy going on there. I don't recall hearing Google people's names amongst the tech bros flanking Trump at his inauguration, but I don't check daily attendance for board members. I can't help notice who the conservatives, I can't help but notice who the conservatives and the fundamentalists and all the self-proclaimed paragons are lined up behind. People who seem to embody the kind of people that defy every stricture they're supposed to be opposed to. So who's telling the truth? Does it even matter? These are the people, not in your neighborhood, stop. These are the people in charge. We voters sort of helped and allowed it. so much more invested in owning the libs that they've screwed themselves up. Those who voted to own the libs instead of paying close attention to. You can't just go by what people say. You gotta like check their work. You gotta, do your research has become ruined by people who, I don't know what research they thought they were doing or what they thought research meant, but they came up with a lot of crap that was cuckoo and wrong or else just didn't apply to the situation. So they had their eye off the ball, you could say. Oh God, here it comes again. I already started. Anyway, let me go on. So yeah, they screwed themselves up. This time it's them saying, hey, this is not in my interest. If people want to change, now's the time. The time is now. To effect change, the longer we wait, the harder it'll be to dislodge the problematics that we're having right now. I hope we can keep our eyes on the ball, which in my opinion means drop the ball on right, left arguing and start fighting the ones on top whose words have clearly been spoken with a forked tongue. All right. How am I doing on time here? Oh, not too terribly bad. So, I kept hearing the word hard when I went to go choose cards for doing this. And so I went to my Crystal Visions, Gemstone Whispers deck. And the first card I pulled was the Pearl. And it reads, Intuition. Intuition is seeing with the soul. So, I mean, everything I was just saying there is me going by feeling. Because I feel like we're going to find that feeling is going to be more reliable than what the words are that you're being told. So the next one I pulled was Lapis Lazuli. And the subtitle in this one is Open. The only way to find true happiness is to risk being completely cut open. Well, that suggests being like tied shut if you got to be cut open. But that's release, like you're being freed, it sounds like. And it brings to mind something that's really hopeful. And it was something that someone without so-called proper education sort of intuitively figured out. Like they just were in the right vibration with this plant that they were dealing with, that they wanted to encourage its growth. So this is just a story that I read years ago. I don't even remember where I read it, probably 4 or 5 years ago, but it was talking about a young boy in Africa who kind of started making like a food garden for like his village, and he was able, like, I don't remember like if there was like soil or water issues or what, but he had this seed. Now I'm thinking of Jack and the Beanstalk, but anyway, he had this seed and he really wanted to grow it. And I don't know if he had trouble like before that growing them, or if he heard they were a problem, or if again was a water or soil, like I don't know, but it occurred to him to take a razor blade and put a slit in this seed. And then when he planted it, he had great success with it. So then that led to him doing it with other strains of stuff he was growing. And I imagine other creative ideas flowed from that, because that's kind of how it works. Like you get one idea, next thing you know, it's spinning off from there into something else. And, whatever stimuli comes in, like, adds to it. So, just saying. The last card I picked was the Great Star of Africa, and the subtitle is Envy. And isn't that funny? I did look at these before I pulled them, but I completely forgot that there was also an African card, or another reference to Africa. So this one says, Envy is the religion of the mediocre. It comforts them, it smooths their worries, and finally rots their souls, allowing them to justify their meanness and their greed. until they believe these to be virtues. Now, every single word of that sounds like a couple of people with evidently all the money in the world, so all of the easy pathways, like all the open doors, and yet they're still like unhappy. They still don't have it all, and everything they want is like something outside of them, like people's approval, people's attention, objects, material things, none of which you can really like. I mean, some things you can put inside of yourself, but that's like as close as you're gonna get to like completely possessing other stuff like that. The gold, the treasure, the diamonds, is you'll find them when you look inside yourself, when you understand that all of that exterior stuff and stimulation ain't it, Chief. It's not gonna it's not gonna make all your dreams come true. I don't think that's how it works. And so then I pulled some from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck as well. And I also looked at those and I was like, I don't really know how these pertain, but I'm just gonna go with it. So this is the first one I chose, Magician's Sword. And as you can see, it is it's got magic on there, so you can make the inference that it is a magical sword, and it seems to be blazing with light, which confers an idea of power, I think. And it's the number 37 card, so if you numerology that, you get a 1. 1 is a master number. Number 1! And so, Magician's Sword, and the subtitle on here is Confidence in Your Magic. Well, I've talked about this recently, and I think it's important to mention that, especially in this time of sort of like confusion and you don't really know, you can no longer count on projections. Like, you can't say for sure what's going to happen in the future anymore. I mean, I don't know to what degree that was true for people before now, but I mean, things have changed. You have to have noticed. You may have noticed that time feels like it's sped up. You have to have noticed institutions like teetering and falling apart and, you know, being like I don't want to say imploded, but like pulled inward so that like they just topple. Like the structures are just being messed up so that they can no longer stand under their own power. And so I feel like that is not a time to run scared. I think it is a time to like seize the moment, because if everything's falling apart anyway, like if you feel like the end is near, what have you got to lose? And so have confidence in your magic. Like, go for what it is you want, like what you feel like, you know, within reason. I'm not saying like go out and enact some evil plan or harm other people or anything like that, but I'm talking about that thing where you go inside yourself and find the gold, find the treasure, and then like defend it like hell, or, you know, like work your magic with it, but believe that you can do it. Like, again, right now, what have you got to lose? Same any other time, but this particular time might make it easier for you to say, what have you got to lose, right? And that is not the order. So this card next, number 28, another 10, so another 1, another number 1, numeral 1, and it's hollow bone, and the subtitle is Teachability. Well, I mean, that kind of goes along with what I was saying, you know, in these new moments where you're doing something and you're learning on the fly, and then also you're sort of also teaching in the moment, like by seizing the day, you know. And all of these are, all of what's pictured here, like the animal skull, the feathers, the horn, they all have traditional, like, sacred meaning to indigenous people. The bone, the pipe that's in the foreground there is I don't think it's a smoking pipe. I think it's a sound pipe, like a flute or a recorder type deal. 'Cause look at it; it's got an opening at the end, and then holes to change the tones or the pitch or whatever. Like a flute. And so feathers, they're all different bird feathers, and I don't have like a deep understanding of the ceremonies that go on, but I know that each feather has, I don't actually know this for a fact. I believe this to be the case. Depending on what bird it came from, the feather has a different meaning. Is that a rabbit's foot on there too? I don't think it's a feather. I don't know what that is. So I don't know. Like maybe you recognize it. I kind of want to say it looks like a pussy willow bud, but the proportions are wrong. And where's the rest of the plant? Like, or a rabbit's foot? Like, I don't know what that is. Feel free to leave an opinion if you want. And then the skull. That I think is a veneration thing, like a acknowledgement of the power and like the gift of the rest of the animal that they would have consumed and used. Like basically every part gets used for some practical purpose in the indigenous community. I mean, they still have these practices. It's not all electricity and running water. This is their tradition. So they will hunt and they will make their moccasins and their beadwork and whatever else. Like I think they go like off the grid and do like indigenous stuff the indigenous way, because it's the only place they can do it in peace, kind of. But they all have like a sacred meaning, and they all have a meaning that's very like earth connected, like connected with the animal world, connected also with the spirit world. Because, well, here's something interesting that you can find on YouTube, all kinds of indigenous flute music. And when I say indigenous, I am talking about here in the United States, but that could extend into Canada as well as Mexico because we put a period there, because before there were borders, people just roamed, But, people had their areas that were their homes and blah, blah, blah. But there is going to be an emphasis on this kind of knowledge, I think, these indigenous ways that respect the earth and its creatures and the seasons and everything. Like, the closer you are to it, the better an understanding you have of the earth. And I think that obviously the technological age and the industrial age, every age we have seems to pull us further and further away from that, and we manifest these sicknesses and these psychoses. And it's like, maybe it's because we keep extracting more and more of a natural essential element to like our sanity and health generally. I feel like that's what that is saying. Like, remember these are here for a reason, and as the indigenous say, they're not going anywhere. So anytime you want to start like turning your attention to that sort of thing, please help yourself. So the next card is number 51. That's a 6 in the numerology. You can look it up if you want. I'm going to say that it is... I feel like it's the place where you're sort of mid-transition and you're just kind of holding steady. I don't know where that came from, but there you go. Okay, so have a look at this card. There is a person that is in the lotus position. They seem to be meditating, but if you look at them, their body is luminous and kind of also see-through. So I feel like it's someone this is where they've gone. Like, this is like an astral sort of plane situation, and this is where this person has gone, left their solid form behind. And I don't know what it is about this place, but it's like you sit on this bridge. It is, look at that. It very possibly has mortar, but maybe not. There are some ancient forms of building where they didn't use mortar and stuff was put together like a Jenga, like just fitted pieces that were slotted so snugly that even a form like this would function and work, and for like hundreds and hundreds of years. So I feel like that's what they're on. I feel like the way that it's put together, the way that the pieces are so well fitted together, there's some meaning there. Again, like something that goes back, some fully functional knowledge that we for some reason left behind, and yet there it still is. And maybe you don't even have to go there in your astral form. Like, maybe this is actually a place, but possibly not, because underneath the bridge it seems to be daytime, and here it seems to be night. And I don't know, like maybe in the distance it could be like that. Where I live, it could be like that. Like, it could be kind of dark right where you're standing because there's a bunch of clouds over you, but a couple of blocks away it's bright and sunny as if there was no clouds anywhere. So you never know. But I feel like this is night and this is day, and nighttime is when most people do their astral traveling, as far as I know, when you're sleeping. And so connecting with spirit, this makes me think of code a lot, but going back and forth. And so messaging. Oh yeah, seems to be a woman. So maybe it is the divine feminine getting information on how to work with the divine masculine, who's having so much trouble and is like suffering a pandemic of their own. And maybe they need to have confidence in their own magic again, and leave the where is it? Leave the envy behind and stop worrying about the pretty objects, because the treasure that you're missing that's buried is in you. And you might need help getting back to that person that you have buried, along with the treasure. You might need some instruction. And then once you have it, you got to do like the rite of passage thing almost, although it's only like similar to that, I think, because as an adult you can choose to do it every day and like refresh all of that stuff. The subtitle on this is Limitless Possibility, so that's also a reminder, like, don't think that everything's all terrible. Look at this bridge that I was talking about. That's been there a long time. Like, things are survivable, things go on. And again, I didn't talk about it in this particular video, but when you die, it's not the end. Like, your form and your consciousness go through a change. You could still just be here, but once you cross to the other side of the veil, evidently you can be in like all of the places at one time. Don't quote me on that. I don't know the details. I'm not like dead right now, so I can't really tune into that. Last card I pulled is number 16, and that numerology is to a 7, which is the number that you can associate with spirit. One of the numbers you can associate with spirit. And good luck, by the way. You can associate it, the number 7, with spirit, and also with good luck. Not like good luck. They mean it that other way. So, empty well, time to replenish. I'm struck by that golden ring around the water at the bottom of the well there. It almost looks like space, which is interesting because the empty well, ideally you want your well to be filled, and I don't have one, but I seem to remember reading that because water tables do things and there are just geological shifts that, I mean, I can't explain them, so let's just leave it at that. They're mysterious. But like there are lakes that dry up. There are rivers that have water sometimes, and sometimes they dry up. And maybe that's a metaphor for us. And the golden ring, like that golden light, I also associate with spirit. Like it kind of reminds me of a halo there. And this, I don't know. Okay. That's like a puddle of water with the primordial goo of humanity, and like this is just like the cooker, the incubator. Just add water to the empty well. Water in the form of knowledge, and knowledge. There's great knowledge to be found within. Like not everything that's valuable that will learn you something has to have like a designer label on it, or has to be the envy of everyone in your neighborhood. In fact, that's kind of a low vibration thing to even want to impress people in that way. Like anyone could go buy a handbag, you know, but what's impressive really is what is the treasure that you can unearth and bring up from yourself and polish to a fine sheen and sparkle in the light. That sounds like a right angle purpose. However, it could be a juxtaposition, something that you do both on your own and with people, which that kind of sounds like a functional way to be in the world, right? So there you have it. You can collate it and make it make sense more for yourself. I'm just, I guess, gurgitating here, but yeah, that's it. Thank you and good night.